The movie begins with a nurse walking down a quiet hospital aisle after her night shift. She pauses at a faint rustling, but, seeing no one, continues to the shower. While bathing, an unseen figure slits her throat, killing her. The killer takes her body, buries it, and drives off to his next target, a house. Inside, he enters a bedroom and approaches a sleeping woman who stirs awake. A baby's cry breaks the tension, revealing the man is Evan. He gently tells his wife, Lauren, to go back to sleep and cradles their baby with care. The story then shifts to 3 months earlier. Evan, a social worker, interviews troubled teenagers, showing his kind and compassionate nature. After work, he returns home to his pregnant wife, embracing her lovingly. Soon after, Lauren goes into labor, and the couple rushes to the hospital. As Evan watches her struggle, he is struck by haunting flashes of his father's brutal death. Amid Lauren's cries, their son, Andrew, is born. A few hours later, Evan's mother visits the hospital to meet Lauren and her first grandchild. When baby Andrew begins crying, Lauren tries to breastfeed but struggles. A nurse, the same one from the film's opening, steps in and forcefully guides the baby, upsetting Evan with her harsh manner. Before he can react, she leaves. That night, while Lauren sleeps, Evan holds his son and vows never to hurt him, promising unconditional love. After returning home, the couple faces sleepless nights as Andrew refuses to breastfeed and fails to gain weight, leaving Lauren stressed and exhausted. One night, Evan picks up a knife and is hit by a flashback of his father savagely beating him, until his mother once threatened the man with a knife to protect him. The next morning, Evan wakes to find his mother in the house, gently cradling Andrew. He welcomes her to stay, and as they catch up, she reassures him not to be too hard on himself over Lauren's struggles and the baby's constant crying. At work, Evan sits at his desk reflecting on his life. Alone, he listens to an old recording of a drunken man making excuses for beating his child, claiming life is hard and he needs someone to take it out on. He's interrupted by Ray, one of the troubled teens he supervises. With a bruise on his face, Ray explains that his father beat him and his younger sibling. Evan reassures him that things will be okay and promises to report it to the police. After Ray leaves, Evan reviews the father's profile, a criminal with a history of violence now out on parole. That night, Evan can't sleep. Haunted by a flashback of his father with a slit throat, he feels compelled to act. He packs his gear and drives out to find Ray's father. Outside a dingy bar, he meets the drunk man, lights his cigarette, and offers him a ride home. During the drive, it becomes clear the man is not only abusive, but also violently racist. The man directs Evan to a vacant luxury home where he's been secretly squatting. After handing him a beer, Evan makes sure no one else knows about the place. He then knocks the man unconscious and ties him to a chair. When the man regains consciousness, Evan sets up a recorder and shows him a photo of Ray, reminding him why he's there. The man shows no remorse, cursing at Evan until Evan cuts him in the gut to terrify him. Only then does the man beg, claiming he never meant harm, just that kids are difficult and he sometimes loses control. Evan sees through the excuses. He stabs the man, slits his throat, and watches him bleed out. He then disposes of the body in a remote spot before returning home as if nothing happened. Days later, Ray updates Evan about his life. He's happier, saying his family is doing well since his father disappeared. This reassures Evan. Not long after, Ray returns, puzzled that his father has vanished without a trace. Even his parole officer is searching. Evan calmly tells him not to worry, suggesting it isn't the first time his father has gone missing. The next teen Evan counsels is Kelly, who appears shaken but won't reveal what her uncle did. Sensing the truth, Evan tracks the man down that night and takes him to the same abandoned house. He accuses him of assaulting Kelly, and the uncle doesn't deny it. Furious, Evan punches him. But the man justifies his actions by saying it's natural to be attracted to his 5-year-old niece. Enraged, Evan cuts him in the gut. Before he can finish, Lauren calls, begging him to come home because baby Andrew has a fever. After hanging up, Evan stabs the uncle repeatedly until he bleeds to death. In his rush, he leaves bloody evidence sticking out of his trunk. At the hospital, the doctor reassures them Andrew is fine. They once again run into the same rude nurse, who dismisses the fever as normal and tells them not to panic over small things. On the way back, Evan notices the bloody tarp exposed, but his mother quickly diverts Lauren's attention and helps her into the car. After settling his family at home, Evan drives off to bury the body. Later that night, while putting Andrew to bed, he gets a call from Chris, another teen under his care. Evan meets him outside a grocery store, where Chris sits bruised and bloodied, explaining that his drug-addicted father just beat him. The next morning, Lauren questions Evan about where he's been at night. He casually replies that he's either out driving or helping kids. She reminds him he shouldn't be working outside office hours, but Evan brushes it off, gets up, and leaves for work. Later, Chris calls to say his father apologized, promised to get clean, and even wants to take him to the movies. The sudden change leaves Evan suspicious. That evening, he tracks the man down anyway and finds him at the hospital, trying to score pain meds. The rude nurse turns him away before ending her shift and heading to the showers. The film circles back to its opening. The nurse walks down the hall, undresses, and begins to shower. At the same time, Chris's father sneaks into the pharmacy to steal drugs. It's revealed that Evan has been tailing Chris's father, not the nurse, proving he wasn't the one who killed her. In a shocking twist, it's Evan's mother who sneaks up and slits the nurse's throat. Meanwhile, Evan ambushes Chris's father, knocks him out, and drags him to the abandoned house. There, Evan berates him for being a violent, incompetent parent who doesn't truly love his son. The man insists he never meant to hurt Chris, claiming the boy was caught in the middle of fights with his wife, and admits his violence comes from drug use. He swears he wants to get clean but keeps relapsing, then mentions that Chris has some inheritance money, though he insists he isn't after it. Chris's father eventually lashes back, telling Evan that he is the real incompetent parent, because someone so consumed by violence can never be a good father. Insulted, Evan shows no mercy. He stabs the man repeatedly, then slits his throat. That night, after burying the body and burning evidence in a barrel fire, Evan reflects on his past. Flashbacks reveal the truth. His mother is a serial killer, and young Evan once slit his abusive father's throat to protect her. From then on, mother and son have shared the same method of killing and disposing of victims, targeting those who threatened them or the people they cared about. When Evan returns home, his mother calmly wipes blood from his neck, silently acknowledging his actions. The next morning, he finds her watching TV as a news report announces 3 bodies discovered in a field Evan's usual dumping ground. At work, Ray breaks down in tears over the news of his alcoholic father's murder, while Kelly appears relieved that her abusive uncle is dead. Chris, however, grieves, insisting that despite his flaws, his father was truly trying to change. Evan shows no remorse and instead convinces Chris that his father only cared about his inheritance. When Chris reacts with shock, since he never mentioned the inheritance, Evan quickly gaslights him, claiming he must have forgotten telling him. Later, Detective Overstreet visits Evan's house, noting how all the recent murder victims are connected to Evan's clients. Though he hasn't drawn a conclusion, he admits Evan is a suspect. The detective then interviews Lauren, asking if Evan has been gone at night. Evan's mother firmly denies it, and though Lauren looks nervous and conflicted, she backs the claim. That night, Lauren avoids Evan's kiss, showing her growing suspicion of both him and his mother. The following day, Detective Overstreet returns to question her privately. He asks if Evan has ever seen Chris outside of work, which she denies. When he presses her about Evan's whereabouts on Thursday, March 26, she says he was with her at the hospital because their baby had a fever. Skeptical, the detective shows her a security photo of Evan's car at another location that night. Frustrated, Lauren admits their marriage has been stressful since the baby was born, and while Evan often takes late-night drives, he always comes home, and she still believes he's a good man. Without solid evidence, the detective leaves his card, telling her to reach out if she has anything to share. Later that day, Lauren tells Evan that Detective Overstreet returned, asking about his whereabouts the previous Thursday. Evan brushes it off, hoping the detective won't dig further. That night, Evan is jolted awake by Chris pounding on the door. Furious and armed with a gun, Chris accuses him of killing his father, since Evan somehow knew about the inheritance. With Lauren watching in shock, Evan calmly tells her to go inside. Acting quickly, he disarms Chris and overpowers him. Though he presses the gun to Chris's head, Evan ultimately spares him, letting him leave but keeping the weapon. After Evan falls asleep, Lauren sneaks into his study. She plays his recorder, which he uses for both client interviews and, horrifyingly, his victims. Terrified, she listens to the incriminating tapes, then digs out newspaper clippings of the murders to confirm the voices belong to the same victims. Before she can act, Evan's mother appears, realizing Lauren has uncovered the truth. With a passive-aggressive calm, she insists Evan is a good man, someone shaped by hardship, who understands that children must be protected and who now has his own family to defend. Later, Lauren tells Evan she wants some time alone to go shopping, and he agrees. In secret, she makes another call, likely to Detective Overstreet, asking to meet. Meanwhile, Evan's mother warns him not to trust Lauren and not to let Chris off so easily. Suspicious, Evan follows Chris as he leaves home. Lauren drives to a remote location where she secretly meets with Chris. From a distance, Evan watches as Lauren admits that Evan really did kill Chris's father. Suddenly, she pulls out a gun, shoots Chris in the head, places the weapon in his hand, and types something on his phone. Evan, witnessing everything, smiles in approval, realizing Lauren is just like his mother, willing to do anything to protect him. Soon after, the news reports that Chris was found dead at Evan's usual dumping ground, with a suicide note posted online confessing to the 3 murders. Detective Overstreet stops by to offer condolences. Evan calmly explains that Chris often had access to his office, which must be how he knew about the other abused kids. With no further leads, the detective closes the case and leaves. The film ends with Evan and Lauren peacefully gazing at their baby, ready to move forward with their lives. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.